Have you ever been so invisible in your own home that even your absence wouldn't leave a shadow? That was my life. For 7 years, I poured myself into my marriage. Amanda was my world. But somewhere along the way, I became an afterthought. The man who paid the bills, fixed the leaky pipes, and cleaned up after dinner while she scrolled through her phone. She didn't see me anymore, and if she did, she didn't care. I wasn't angry, at least not anymore. I realized I'd been waiting for her to notice me, waiting for her to care. But Amanda had made her choice a long time ago. And now I was making mine. Tonight I would leave. No shouting, no slammed doors, no dramatic goodbyes. Just silence. The same silence she's been giving me for years. But before I tell you the rest of the story, click the like button and tell us where you're watching from. I still remember the night I tried to talk to Amanda about what was happening between us. It wasn't an easy decision to bring it up. For months, I'd felt the growing distance, like we were living in two separate worlds under the same roof. But that night, sitting at the edge of our bed, I realized I couldn't ignore it anymore. I turned to her, watching her face illuminated by the soft glow of her phone. I cleared my throat to get her attention. "Amanda," I began, my voice steady but heavy with the weight of what I was about to say. "Can we talk for a minute?" She didn't look up. "What is it, Nathan?" "I'm busy," she said, her tone sharp, almost irritated, as if I had interrupted something far more important than us. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my frustration in check. "I feel like we're drifting apart," I said. "We barely spend time together anymore. There's no connection between us, no intimacy. I miss us." Finally, she looked up, her expression blank, her phone still in her hand. "What are you talking about?" she asked, her voice devoid of any emotion. I searched her face for any sign that she cared, but there was nothing. It was like talking to a wall. We don't talk the way we used to. We don't laugh, we don't touch. It's like I don't exist to you anymore, I said, my voice trembling slightly as I put my heart on the line. Amanda rolled her eyes. "You're overthinking things," she said, turning back to her phone. "You're always so sensitive, Nathan. Everything doesn't have to be some big emotional crisis." Her words hit me like a slap in the face. Sensitive. That's what she thought of me. Like I am someone too fragile to handle life. I sat there in silence for a moment, the air between us thick with unspoken words. "I'm not trying to make a big deal out of this," I said finally, my voice quieter now, almost pleading. "I just want us to be happy again, to feel like a team. Do you even want that?" Amanda sighed, putting her phone down for the first time, but not out of concern. It was annoyance. "Nathan, I have a lot on my plate right now. Work, my schedule, everything. I can't deal with this clinginess. That word stuck in my head like a thorn. She made it sound like wanting my wife's attention was some kind of weakness. That conversation was the moment I realized I was fighting for something Amanda didn't even care about anymore. It was the moment I started thinking about leaving. It wasn't always like this. Amanda used to spend her evenings with me, watching movies, talking about our day, or even just sitting in comfortable silence. But lately, things have changed. She started going out more, with the vague excuse that she was exploring her social life. I didn't want to be the controlling husband who questioned her every move, so I kept my thoughts to myself. But deep down, I couldn't ignore the unease that was growing inside me. Her outings became more frequent. At first, it was once a week, then twice, until it felt like every other night she was slipping out the door. She'd say things like, "I'm meeting some friends from work," or, "There's this networking event I can't miss." Each time, she left dressed in a way I hadn't seen in years. I started to wonder, why now? After 7 years of marriage, why was she suddenly so eager to build a social life outside our home? Wasn't this the kind of thing people did before they got married? The more I thought about it, the more uncomfortable I got. Then, one night, Amanda came home much later than usual. She had told me she was working late, but when she walked through the door, something was off. I was sitting on the couch, pretending to watch TV, but my eyes darted to her as soon as she entered. Her walk was unsteady, just slightly, as if she was trying too hard to act normal. "Hey," she said casually, tossing her bag onto the counter. Her voice had a lightness to it, but it sounded forced, like she was putting on a show. "Long night?" I asked, trying to keep my tone neutral. "Yeah, a lot of deadlines," she replied quickly, avoiding my eyes as she slipped off her shoes. That's when I noticed it, a faint but unmistakable scent of alcohol, mixing with her perfume. Amanda didn't drink much, at least not at home, and certainly not when she was working. So why now? My stomach tightened as 1,000 questions raced through my mind. I didn't confront her, not yet. Instead, I watched as she grabbed a glass of water and headed to bed without another word. She didn't even ask how my day had been, something that had once been a habit for her. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. The following day, I convinced Amanda to go to therapy. It wasn't an easy sell. She told me it was a waste of time, but I kept pushing. I needed her to see what was happening between us, or at least acknowledge it. Deep down, I knew this might be my last chance to save us. When we finally walked into the therapy office, Amanda barely looked up from her phone. She tapped away until the very moment Dr. Monroe, our therapist, walked in. I'll admit, the office was nice, clean, and quiet, with soft lighting that felt more welcoming than our house had in months. Dr. Monroe greeted us with a warm smile, but Amanda just nodded and sat back, her arms crossed like a defiant teenager. I was nervous, but I had hope. Maybe hearing everything in a neutral space would help us get somewhere. Dr. Monroe started with a simple question. "What do you think brought you here today?" I opened my mouth to answer, but Amanda beat me to it. "He's the one who wanted this," she said, shrugging. Her voice was casual, almost bored. "I don't know why we're here. Nathan overthinks everything." I felt my stomach tighten. Overthinking? That's what she thought this was. I wasn't lying awake at night because I liked analyzing things. I was trying to figure out how our marriage had turned into this. I took a deep breath and tried to stay calm. I wanted us to come here because I feel like we've lost something. "We barely talk anymore, Amanda. I don't even feel like your husband, just someone you live with." She didn't even look at me. "That's not true," she said flatly. "You're just needy. You always want to talk about feelings and all that. I'm too busy for this emotional stuff." I glanced at Dr. Monroe, who gave me a small nod, encouraging me to keep going. "It's not about being needy. It's about feeling like I matter to you. Like I'm more than just the guy who pays the bills and fixes the house." Amanda sighed loudly, like she was doing me a favor just by being there. "You do matter, but you're always so sensitive about everything. I can't deal with that all the time." Sensitive. That word hit me like a slap. She said it like it was a bad thing, like caring too much was some kind of flaw. Dr. Monroe leaned forward. "Amanda, do you understand why Nathan feels this way? Can you share how you're feeling right now?" Amanda finally looked up, but not at me. She glanced at the clock on the wall and shrugged. "Honestly, I think he's making this a bigger deal than it is. I'm fine with how things are. I don't see the problem." I couldn't believe it. "The problem is that you don't care, Amanda. That's the problem. I'm sitting here telling you how much this hurts, and all you can do is check the time." She rolled her eyes, her tone sharp. "Well, maybe if you didn't blow everything out of proportion, we wouldn't be here in the first place." At that moment, something broke inside me. I looked at Dr. Monroe, and she gave me a sympathetic glance, but I knew no amount of therapy could fix this. Amanda didn't want to try. She didn't even think there was a problem. When the session ended, Amanda grabbed her phone and walked out without a word. I sat there for a moment, staring at the empty chair where she'd been. And that's when it hit me. I was the only one fighting for this marriage. And I couldn't do it alone. With all the things Amanda was doing, it was hard not to suspect she was having some sort of affair outside. It was late one night. Amanda had gone to bed hours ago, but I couldn't stop thinking about her constant texting and the way she seemed so distant. That night, I couldn't ignore it anymore. I needed answers. Her MacBook laptop was sitting on the kitchen counter. Amanda never bothered to lock it, and I stared at it for a moment, debating what to do. Part of me felt wrong for even thinking about it, but another part of me knew that this was my opportunity. The messaging app popped up right away. It was connected to her phone, and the conversation on the screen was with Jeff, her gym buddy. At first, the messages seemed normal, just talk about workouts and gym schedules. But as I scrolled up, the messages became personal. "Honestly, Nathan is so clueless," Amanda had written. "He's always trying so hard to fix things. It's exhausting." Jeff replied with a laughing emoji. "Maybe he should fix himself first." They joked about me, mocked me. Every word hit me like a punch to the gut. Then I saw it, the message that broke me. It's almost too easy to manipulate him. He just wants to believe everything's fine. I couldn't breathe for a moment. I sat back, staring at the screen. It's obvious something was wrong, but seeing her mock me with an outsider hurt more than I could have imagined. She didn't just betray me, she laughed about it. About me. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't stop hearing her words in my head. By the time the sun came up, I knew I had to confront her. But I also knew I couldn't let her see how much I'd uncovered. Not yet. The next morning, Amanda came into the kitchen, acting as if everything was normal. She poured herself coffee, scrolling through her phone. I decided to test her, to see if she'd slip up. "You were at the gym yesterday?" I asked casually. She didn't even look up. "Yeah." "Why?" "You and Jeff seem close," I said, watching her carefully. "You spend a lot of time together." She rolled her eyes. "Oh, stop. Jeff's just a friend. Don't start acting paranoid." Her tone was sharp. She wasn't denying anything. She was just brushing me off. The days that followed went by like a breeze. I had to think everything through. Leaving Amanda wasn't something I could do on a whim. It had to be done carefully so that I could leave without any trouble. I wanted to make sure I was free. The first thing I handled was the money. Late one night, while Amanda was out, I logged into our joint bank account. The money in there was mostly from my paycheck, and I started moving it into a new account I had opened in my name. I didn't take it all. I left just enough for small bills so it wouldn't look suspicious at first. Amanda never checked the account, so I knew she wouldn't notice right away. Next, I called the utility companies. The electricity, water, and internet were all under my name. I told them to cancel everything a few days after I left. I could already picture Amanda sitting in the dark, wondering what happened. It felt strange, but also necessary. She had taken me for granted, and I wanted her to feel what life was like without me. I also met with a lawyer. She helped me understand my rights and made sure everything I was doing was legal. Filing for divorce wasn't easy, but it was something I needed to do. It felt like a way to finally let go of all the hurt and frustration I had been carrying. Then there was the note. Writing it was harder than I expected. In the end, I wrote something simple but clear. It wasn't angry, but it wasn't soft either. It was honest. I folded it and left it on the kitchen counter, right next to the coffee machine Amanda used every morning. I wanted it to be the first thing she saw when she realized I was gone. I left early in the morning, just before the sun came up. I had packed my things earlier and kept them hidden in my car. As I walked through the house, I looked around one last time. When I reached the kitchen, I set the note on the counter. I made sure it was in plain sight. For a second, I stood there looking at it. Then I turned and walked out the door. I didn't slam it. I just left. Amanda didn't even notice I was gone. At least, not at first. She carried on with her usual life. There were little clues everywhere. My shoes were missing from the hallway. My laptop was gone. Even the coffee machine hadn't been touched. But Amanda didn't put it together. She probably thought I was just upset and hiding somewhere. She didn't check the bank account. She didn't open the bills piling up on the counter. She didn't even realize the utilities were about to be shut off. Amanda had built her life around the idea that I'd always be there, taking care of everything. She didn't stop to think about what would happen if I wasn't. For a whole week, she stayed in her bubble. But soon, everything would start to fall apart. I'd always known Amanda loved her shopping trips. Designer handbags, high heels, and jewelry she didn't need but always wanted. It was part of the life she had built for herself. I used to fund it all without complaint, thinking it was part of being a good husband. But now that I was gone, reality was waiting for her, and it hit harder than I expected. It started with her credit card. She had gone to one of her favorite stores, but when she swiped her card at the checkout counter, it was declined. Confused, she tried again, but the result was the same. Declined. The cashier, young and awkward, apologized and said something about contacting her bank. Amanda didn't think much of it at first. Maybe it was a glitch or some issue with the bank system. She left the store frustrated as she made her way to the bank. But what she heard there would be the start of her unraveling. I'm sure her jaw dropped when she was informed that the joint account had been almost entirely withdrawn by the primary account holder. I could almost picture the realization dawning on her. For the first time, she understood that I wasn't just away for the weekend or sulking somewhere, waiting to come back. I was gone, and I had taken everything I had contributed with me. Amanda wasn't completely without income. She had a job, but it was a modest paycheck that wouldn't come close to supporting the lifestyle she was used to. And I doubted Chris, her so-called gym buddy, would be eager to step in and fund her lifestyle. That's when desperation kicked in. One evening, as I was finishing up dinner in my new apartment, there was a knock at the door. I didn't need to open it to know who it was. Amanda had found me because she had been calling for days. I opened the door to see her standing there, looking every bit the polished woman she always was. But there was something different now. "Nathan," she said, her voice breaking slightly. "Can we talk?" I stepped aside, letting her in. She walked in slowly, her hands twisting nervously as she took in the modest space. It wasn't anything fancy, a one-bedroom apartment with the basics. But it was mine, a place where I finally felt peace. I made mistakes," she started, her voice trembling. "I didn't appreciate you the way I should have. I was selfish. But I can change. We can fix this." I leaned against the counter, crossing my arms as I listened. She was saying the words I once would have killed to hear, but something about them felt hollow. She wasn't here because she loved me or missed me. She was here because her world had fallen apart, and I was the easiest solution. "Why are you really here, Amanda?" I asked, my voice steady but firm. She hesitated, then said, "Because I need you. I need us." I shook my head. "No, Amanda. You need stability. You need the life I gave you. But you don't need me, not for the right reasons." Her eyes filled with tears. "That's not true. I love you." I sighed, the weight of years of hurt pressing down on me. "You don't love me. You loved what I provided and what I represented. If you truly loved me, you wouldn't have treated me like a paycheck or a convenient tool. You wouldn't have mocked me behind my back. You had everything, and you threw it away." She started to protest, but I raised a hand to stop her. "Everything you lost was because of you, not me. You made those choices, and now you have to live with them." Amanda looked at me, searching for some sign of weakness, some sign that I might change my mind. But there was nothing left for her to find. "Please, Nathan," she whispered, her voice breaking completely. "Don't do this." I took a deep breath and stood tall. "It's already done. I have no intention of going back to the shamble we called a marriage. It's over, Amanda. Please leave." She stared at me for a moment longer, her face a mixture of shock and defeat, before nodding silently. She turned and walked out the door, and I closed it behind her. The sound of the latch clicking felt like the final punctuation mark on a story that had dragged on far too long. It wasn't easy watching someone I once loved fall apart. But sometimes, you have to let go of what's broken to find your peace. I deserved better. And for the first time in years, I was finally ready to claim it.